You're not chasing your dreams. You're teaching your dreams how to chase you. Right? You're teaching your dreams how to find you. You're not out there, I'm chasing my dream. I'm hustling. I got to get this dream. I'm grinding for my dream, my goals, my aspirations. I got to have these dreams, right? You're not chasing the dream. You're teaching the dream how to find you. I came across this principle in the Kabbalion about 10 years ago that shifted me forever. And I want to share this principle with you this morning as we open up my drive for today. It's a critical principle because 99% of the clients that are requesting or looking to book me to mentor them, I will say 99% of them are chasing an outcome, right? They're leading by, I really want my dream to come true. Just recently talked to a government employee that's their dream is to become financially free from a job because of the how unstable the federal government is at this point in time, right? So they have a dream. They really want this dream to work. And so this not just this client, but there's many potential clients and clients that discuss that, hey, you know what, I got to get to this or that. But let me share with you with the Kabbalion. I learned this 10 years ago. I hope it shifts you today. And that principle is the more importance you place on something, the more resistance you create around that something. Right? The more importance that you place on that dream, on that goal, on that want, the more resistance that you create around it. And that is a universal principle. And what's the point of this principle? Or what is the takeaway from this principle? The takeaway from the principle is that when you create this importance, you're sharing, or let's use the word sharing. You're sharing a identity that you don't have enough. That makes sense? So think about it. You hear me talk about this. I think I've shared these other lessons. It's always, if you think about your keys, your wallet, if you lose a wallet, you lose your keys, or you lose your cell phone in the house. And the more importance you put on trying to find it, you feel like it gets farther and farther away from you. And then when you give up and say, you know what, I'm just going to chill. If it comes up, it comes up. The moment you say that, you can find the wallet right there that's on the kitchen counter that's been there right in front of your face. The same way with any of your dreams, your goals, your desires. So what have you been chasing? Is it a goal, a dream that you've been chasing that you haven't been able to capture? The other thing to think about is, why are some people, right? Some people just are magnets, right? They are magnets. They're very magnetic. They can track anything they want, right? At any time. While other people's, again, the harder they work, the farther things get away from them. Right? Think about that. So the universal principle around this is the universe matches your energetic frequency. Right? It doesn't match your words; it matches your frequency. And that's principle one that you must understand. The universe matches your frequency. So focusing on wanting, when you want something, desperately want something, you're signaling to the universe that you don't have it. And what happens is the universe says, okay, and amplifies that you don't have it. Right? That will be your reality. So, to manifest your desires, you must vibrate at the frequency of already having it, already having the dream. I already have the dream home, the dream car. I already have it. This is how you manifest your desire reality. The great Dr. Wayne Dyer said it perfectly. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. I mean, that said it perfectly. You know, I was I think I shared this in one of my drives earlier, that I had a flight, I had a LA flight from DC, leaving Reagan National Airport, and it was a direct flight. So the earliest I could get one was like a 5 a.m. flight. I don't usually get those type of flights or book those flights, but I didn't want any stops. So it was a 5 a.m. flight. I made a commitment that day. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to bed at 9 p.m. so I can get enough sleep, prepare for the flight. Well, 9 p.m. happened. I got into bed. I tossed and turned in the bed. I kept telling myself, I got to get to bed. I got to get up. I got to get up at 3 to make the 5 a.m. flight, right? So kept talking to myself. I got to get up. I got to go to bed. I got to go to bed. Trying to force it. I looked at the clock several times. I couldn't go to sleep. I could not go to sleep. When I said to myself, you know what? This is like 11:30, 12 o'clock, midnight now. I said, you know what, man? Forget it. If I don't go to sleep, I don't go to sleep. Then I went to sleep. Right? Woke up at 3:30 in the morning. Right? I think we all have been there. But that shows the point of how the universe works, right? You can tell, if you go into a car dealership, you can tell the energy of desperation from some car salesman, right? You can feel it when you get onto the lot, right? Just recently, yesterday, I went to look at some 2026 Escalades, and I can feel the desperation from the salesperson. Right? You can feel the aura coming off that they got to make this sale. I didn't have to buy. You know, I came there just to see, just to look at a couple of vehicles. Nothing strategic. But as I was walking, you know, there were special offers made by this salesperson. They didn't want me to leave the lot at all. You know, they was making all types of promotional gimmick stuff. Right? I could feel the words. As I left, the deal got even sweeter. You know, hey, we can take this, we can do that for you, we can do this. Give you oil change for 2 years, this and that, right? On the opposite end, when you come across a salesperson that isn't desperate, it's a natural energy, right? You tend to trust them more. It's more of a trust you feel from them. And most of the time, they get to sell because it's genuine. Isn't that right? You have to think about the same way when it comes to what you want, what you desire in your business or your investments, in your relationships. That desperation, you don't think it comes off, the energy and frequency doesn't come off as, that you're desperate or wanting something bad to happen. But others, just like I said earlier with the car dealership situation, others can feel it, right? It could feel it in your pricing. They could feel it in your social media posts. I know this is very controversial to share. When it comes to your business, your job, you can't operate from wanting. This is something very controversial. Western society do not want us to know this knowledge. But the truth is, what you want lives in the universe, right? And you have to become a magnet. And what I mean by universe, let me back up. When I mean by universe, I'm talking about your inner world. And so what you want in the universe, in your inner world, you must become a magnet to it. As I shared earlier, the universe interprets wanting as something as like an energetic space. It's a gap you create, right? If everything is one, right? If all is one is all. When you want, see this, you're creating a gap. And the more you want it, the gap becomes, just like I said with the keys earlier. The more I wanted to find my keys or wallet, the gap became bigger. The more you want to grow your business from 30K to 100K per month income, the more you want it, the more the gap will become bigger. Why? Because the universe sees this as energetic space. The bigger the importance, the bigger the space. If I was mentoring some of the top Hollywood stars today, celebrities that have been divorced several times, this is the principle that I would have them focus on and apply. All right, you can't see it, but that energy and frequency comes off on people. Right, that feeling of desperation, of lack. And some people are good at taking advantage of that. Right? I could have easily took advantage of the car salesperson. Right? I could have played along and say, hey, yeah, well, you know what? I don't really want to buy, and got it down probably even further, right? Same thing with relationships. If you're coming from desperation and I really want this person so bad, the other person could use that as manipulation. It makes sense? This is why the people that need money the most have the least. And the people that need money the least have the most. based because of this universal principle. Hey, this is not human law. This is not man-made law. This is not some stuff, rules that can be manipulated and changed and altered because of who comes in as president or who comes in as judge. Whatever. This is not human. This is a universal law that can't be changed. You best work with it, not against it. You look at Power, just came on, the old Power with Ghost. Just watching that, just watched a couple episodes of that over the weekend. Power. You remember Power on Starz Network with Ghost? Don't forget, when you think about that, you know, when you watch what Ghost was doing, Ghost he was trying to get out the drug game, right? He was really trying to, you could he really wanted to get out of that life and become legit. You could see it by his actions, right? But he still had Tasha, Tasha wanted, still liked that lifestyle. So he still had Tasha, he still had Tariq, the son, who became a maniac after he was gone. But Angela Valdez, right? Angela, that was the love. That's where he wanted to spend the rest of his life with, right? In this new life. But when you look at the final couple of seasons that Ghost was on before they ended him on there, he kept getting pulled back into the drug game, right? He kept getting pulled back into who he really is. Who he really is at the end of the day. And who he really is he was a gangster. Right? You don't track what you want, you track who you are. And Ghost was a gangster at the end of the day. Identity never shifted. He could talk a good game, show a good game, but at the core of who he is what reflected back to him. And even when he made progress, we bought the True Knife Club. Well, I think that's the name of it. He made investments and stuff. He started working with the city. Even when he made progress, he kept going right back. Stringer Bell, same thing. Right? You remember Stringer Bell from The Wire. Drug kingpin with Avon Boxell. He was the second in charge of the operations, right? He really wanted to be a businessman. And Avon could care less about any of that. Avon was really focused on the corners. He saw Marlo coming up. He saw all the little youngsters coming up. And Avon really could care less about any business acromens or anything that Stringer Bell was doing. So despite Stringer Bell working with the politicians, making investments, trying to go legit, his actions reflected who he really was at the end of the day. Right? At the end of the day, he was a gangster. So my point is, you can want it all you want. Want that goal, want that dream to happen. But you will eventually get who you really are internally. So the work is internal. Get this lesson. The work is internal. It's not an external game. It's an internal game. So you have to shift your frequency, your identity to attract what you want. Become the magnet. Become so magnetic that you don't have to chase, grind, hustle for anything. It comes to you. Right? We all know that honeymoon stage in a relationship. Right? It's having some jokes with my with one of somebody in my family talking about they ended. Anyway, she brought the boyfriend over. We talked and talked about the honeymoon stage. And I told her, I said, after the honeymoon's over, that's when you're going to find out what's real. And she laughed. We all laughed. And, but it is some truth. The joke was a joke, but there's truth to the joke. We all know the dating stage of honeymoon. After the honeymoon stage, the person's true identity shows up. So if the person's true identity is a manipulator or cheater or whatever you want to, then it eventually will come out. You can't hide it forever. So the importance of this, again, changing your identity. Okay, shift into the identity where it's natural. And most people, this conversation is for a mature mind. You're watching this because you're meant to have this knowledge today, but this is a mature conversation. It's tough to understand that. And this is why, I figured out the purpose of religion because of this principle. Right? This principle requires you to look within you. And some people don't want to do that. Like, who are you? The universe is only going to reflect who you are. This is how the universe operates. The universe is the truth. The only thing it matters is the truth. The 3D world we're looking at, reality is an illusion. So the universe doesn't take anything out here serious. Anything in the external world that's happening, it could care less. It doesn't have any factor. The hardest part for potential clients to understand is everything that you desire already exists in the universe, in the field of possibilities. You simply have to know that what you want is yours. Not that you don't have it, but you already have it. You have to have the faith and conviction in the unseen. And this is the hardest thing to do, to really trust, to know that your dream will become seen in the 3D and physical reality. That's tough. It's tough. Like I said, there's one potential client, the federal government, with some of the budget crisis that happened that shut people out for a month or so, the close down, the shutdowns. Yeah, government shutdowns. People are feeling it. And anyway, this one potential client, like, hey, I really want to become financially free from this job. How can you see and trust to know that your dream will come to fruition, will come into the 3D, right? It's always a challenge for people to understand that. It's always a challenge. But you must know that if you can see it, right? If you can visualize and be into that dream of financial freedom or whatever your dream is, you already have it. The only thing matters is the universe. Your job now is to vibrate to the frequency and identity of the person that already has it, and then it comes out in the 3D world, in physical reality is expressed. You can look at this from, I can swing this the other way. Okay, I just talked about the universal perspective, right? I can swing this the other way. We can go quantum perspective. When you look at quantum physics, don't forget everything is made of the same underlying energy, right? Everything is atoms, neutrons, photons, electrons, particles, right? Everything. The steering wheel, everything, even the air that I'm breathing is made of the same underlying energy. Now think about that for a second. If everything that's around, everything that's existing right now is made of the same particles, the same energy, that means everything is connected, right? Everything is connecting through the same source. That means then what your dreams or what you dream of or your desires, if everything is connected, everything is made of the same energy, that means your dreams, whatever you dream of, whatever you want really, is already connected to you. It's already part of the greater whole. So whatever you want, you already have it because it's connected to you already. You already have it if you can see it internally. You already have it. If you can't see it internally, if it's not popping up in your vision or anything that you do, then you don't have it. It's not meant for you. If you can see it in your third eye, you already have it. If you can see it in the future or in the past, you do not. Why would you say you don't have it? Or why would you say I want something if you already have it? Nothing is separate from you. Once you understand that, once my clients recognize the power that's within them already, this is how you become a magnet. And you do this by frequency and identity, shifting your identity to match the dreams and goals or whatever you want. And how do you do that? You do that by setting an attention. I look at attention as the bridge between, almost like a bridge between you and your desire. That's the intentions. Right? The intention is like the signal you send into the connection. What is that signal? What is that signal you're sending to the connection? You guessed it. You have guessed it. That signal is who you are after you have achieved your dreams. After you have gotten what you want. After you have achieved your goals. That's the signal that you're sending to the universe. What does your life look like after you have bought the dream home? Right? After you have gotten the dream, what does it look like? The one strategy that is extremely impactful for my clients is to ask yourself, or I call it again, ask formation. What would it feel like if financial freedom was already normal for me right now? Right? I'm working this government job. There's been several shutdowns in the last year or so. I am financially free. That's my dream. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to be financially free right now, already? Right? Ask yourself that question right before you go to bed, when you wake up in the morning time, throughout the day. You get what I'm saying? We're trying to spark the signal to the universe. What's been most impactful for my clients is to ask affirmations. You ask them questions because that speeds things up. After you ask the question, you want to make sure you're feeling that internally. So if the goal was, I'm going back to the government worker, if the goal was financial freedom, and you ask ask yourself that question, what does it feel? Now you need to feel it. Make it feel regular. Right? Make the dream feel like it's regular. But here's the key part in feeling normal. You want to make it feel normal, right? Through your imagination. Okay? Imagery and repetition is the key. So every morning, every night, close your eyes. Create that vivid picture, that mental picture of your life after your desire has already become your reality. That desire is in 3D now. And what I want you to do is see it and feel it. Even experience the ordinary moments, right? Not just all the celebration, what happens as being financial free or whatever your goal is, but the ordinary days, the ordinary moments of dropping the kids off, making lunch or whatever, the day-to-day stuff. Create that vivid mental picture. Right? This goes a long way because it helps balance out your nervous system as well. Right? Your subconscious and your nervous system are connected, pretty much. I got a client that we just worked on this 2 weeks ago in one of the sessions, but we set an intention, right? Just 2 weeks ago, we just had a refresher on this, but we set an intention, right? And what I gave her, you can use this, right? Just feel this for a second. So I got this client, right, that got a hydration bar. It's a hydration IV bar. And she scaled it to $80K per month. Right? She got some unique offers and membership now to this physical place. It's a physical place. It's actually a place. I didn't know you can make that amount of money for because I've been to Vegas and I know about the IV stuff and all that, but she's really branched this thing out. But what I did with her, well, we talked about a couple weeks ago, we refreshed some things, but what we said was, hey, look, I want you to set your attention 6 months in the future, right? So her goal is to get to, now she want to get to 100K per month income from the business. So what I told her to do is set your attention 6 months out. What I mean by attention is that it's already done. Right? That is already done. That you already have, you done your attention 6 months out, but you're living it now. So 100K, you're living right now. You're thinking as the 100K person. Okay? You're visualizing yourself as the 100K person. The business is growing like crazy. And Q4 this year, she's expecting not 100K, but she's looking at 115 during the final quarter of this month, the final quarter of this year. Right? Valuable tool to use. Why is this effective? Because of, if you look at it from a neuroscience perspective, the repeating or the repetition is how the brain recognizes patterns, and it builds a familiarity with that pattern. Now, why does it work? Because if just think about this for a second, because I like to show receipts. The repetition works because it builds that familiarity. Right? If that makes sense? The subconscious mind is constantly looking for patterns and trends from your conscious mind. That's why they say whatever the thinker thinks, the prover proves. If you're repeating the same imagery each morning and each night, the subconscious mind will seek to prove the imagery. Why? Because it recognizes the patterns and trends as normal, which normalizes your nervous system as well, by the way. Right? So everything's connected. If you give the subconscious mind the patterns that you want, then the subconscious mind does its job and finds the evidence, and now your reality shifts. So what that means is you don't have to chase your dreams. You don't have to chase her or him. You don't have to chase the dream car. It finds you. It finds you. So what does all this mean? What this means is you don't have to grind and hustle, right? When you're grinding and hustle, that you're sharing with the universe, right? You're informing the universe that you're lacking something, that you want something desperately, and that causes the gap. If you understand today's drive and the principle I shared today from the Kabbalion, I got it 10 years ago and changed the way I do anything. Changes the way I do anything. Is change my clients. They get the results because they understand this principle. Anything that you want, it already exists. Hey, we can talk about this from a quantum physics perspective, the field of possibilities. Everything exists in the field of possibilities. There's thousands or millions of instances of you in the field of possibilities. You're choosing what you want from that field of possibility. And you're aligning your identity, your frequency to what you want. And that's how you become a magnet. I know this goes against anything you've been taught online. How many times you scroll on YouTube or whatever, these channels, Instagram, you want to make $5,000, you want to make $20,000, you have to do this. If they're not talking about first cause, if they're not talking about the cause, which is your inner world, what we just talked about today, if they're not talking about cause, I'll keep moving on. Because you can't change the effect, which is the external world, the 3D reality, the physical world. You can't change the effect with the effect. As I shared earlier, you might get some pops, but eventually your identity will show back up, just like ghosts, just like Stringer Bell, just like many other people that we've seen where they have success and then they go right back. They call it right back. In my one-on-one mentorship program, I call it Palladium X. This is the work we do. This is indicator of some of the stuff that I'm mentoring clients on. Right? Helping clients understand these universal principles. Understand the science behind all of this. This is not some stuff that's woo-woo or made up or trick bag stuff. This is real. The universe is truth. Deal with the inner world. You have to address the inner world to project the external world. My clients are not grinding. It's not a focus on effects. We focus on the cause. What is your identity of $1 million per month person? Are you operating from the identity you are right now, or are you taking on the character, the frequency, the identity of $1 million person per month? If so, are you wanting, or you know you have it already? And if you know you have it, are you convicted in your conviction and that you know that it will show up in 3D? This is the challenge. You can you can go through all this work, but if you don't have the conviction, it's going to break you, because you're going to be like, well, I don't see it in my reality. I've did 5 nights of, before I went to bed, I imagined $1 million per month. I woke up imagining $1 million per month. It's 3 weeks in. Where's my $1 million per month? If you're asking that question, then you're creating a gap. Because now, again, you're saying that you don't have it. You already have the $1 million a month, $1 million per month. Now, have the conviction to know that it's on its way. There are other things we talk about with my clients as well. Awareness will help you speed the process up, but really the subconscious work is the change, right? Affirmation, asking your subconscious mind to the questions, so that the subconscious mind can do the work. Right? Many people discount the subconscious mind. It's the hidden mind, right? Everybody focuses on the conscious mind, but the subconscious mind is connected to the 4D world. Right? The infinite field of possibilities. So yeah, this is the mentoring work I do with clients. The mentorship is not for folks that are just getting started in business. Okay, if I do take on somebody who hasn't started a business, they're usually at an executive level, right? They're an E-team member. They're in an executive position from a workplace perspective. But most of my clients are kicking butt, right? They have achieved many of their goals. They just hit a plateau right now in their business, right? They hit a ceiling or hit a plateau, right? There's a lot of pressure right now with the current climate that we're in to produce. And this is where my work is coming into play. Okay. If you don't do that, if you're not ready for the mentorship, just go ahead and download the free guide. I got a free guide that's called Divine Identity Blueprint. It should be in the description. You can get that for free. Last thing before I run into the store, and I'm going to put some stuff on the grill this evening with my smoker. And but before I wrap today's drive up, I do want to share this, that, many entrepreneurs, business owners, they spend their lives chasing the things that they want. Very few learn how to become the kind of person those things are attracted to, right? Those things are drawn to you. When your identity changes, what you desire begins to move towards you. That's when you stop chasing your dreams, and your dreams start chasing you. And that's the drive.